So here's some of the issues that we're going to get into. So poverty. It's a real big issue. So let's think about poverty in rural areas. 50% of rural populations between 25 and 64 is in poverty. So think about that for a second. We have working class folks, and this is just like this is what has been surveyed. 25 and over are in poverty in rural areas. And here's the breakdown of those folks who are in poverty. 1.5 million children live in poverty. And as you can see here, 9% of white folk are in poverty. But look at the other bigger numbers. 20% Black, 17% Latinx, 19% Indigenous, 26% LGBT, 30% women with no spouse or partner, 32% women with no spouse or partner, but they have children. So think about these numbers for a moment. The ones that are most vulnerable and the ones who are more historically marginalized, they're the ones being the most affected when they're in rural areas. Now, as you can see, I have a little asterisk there by Asian. There's not a lot of information about rural poverty in the Asian community. I really had to dig to find something, and here's what I have found. And there's I could do a whole 3 slides on this. So the Pew Research Center, they had information last year, did a whole report about key facts about Asian Americans. And one of the things that they pointed out is that, I just lost it. So Asian Americans don't really have a poverty problem. And what the Pew Research is going at here is you really have to go really nationality to nationality on who those folks are. And in their spectrum, they have, those who are Mongolian are a little bit more in the poverty range over those who are Chinese, Koreans, not so much over other Asian communities. So according to Pew Research Center, there is no real information about Asians and Asian Americans and rural poverty. That said, as organizers, if we're in our communities and we can see folks and we observe these and we observe people and ask questions, do a little digging, we can find at least information about certain groups in our areas and what those numbers are. Some towns may be bigger than others with some of these folks. So, again, these are just overall numbers. And if you do some research, and I'd be more than happy to work with you to find this information, we would find that some areas maybe not are huge in themselves in these local areas. So when we think about these areas, why are these folks are a little bit more susceptible to poverty. And why is that? Is it because they're getting pushed out into rural areas? Are they born in these rural areas and they stay there? And if so, what does that look like in those communities? So again, I mean, we got to think about these things when it comes to poverty.